This is Bridge with Stephen. Today we're going to do the second of three parts on the subject of Blackwood. Last time we discussed the original form of Blackwood, the 4-note trump bass ask and the 5-note trump king ask, and what some of the limitations to Blackwood were. This time what we're going to talk about is a modern variation of Blackwood called Roman key card Blackwood, where we're no longer asking about aces and kings, but about the 5 key cards and the 3 side suit kings. We break up those 8 cards now into 5 and 3. What's a key card? A key card is any ace or the trump king. This should say or. So there are 5 key cards. Now, because there are 5 key cards, what the Italians who invented this system, and the reason it's called Roman is because of them, what they have done is they've regrouped the responses, the step responses to 4-note trump. If you recall with the original note trump, the first step response, 5 clubs, meant 0 or 4. The second step meant 5 diamonds. Now what we're going to do is have the first 2 steps each represent 2 different number of key cards. And those are both without the queen of trump, and then the last 2 steps will be either 2 or 5 key cards with the queen of trump. Let's take a little closer look at this. The original form of this system had 5 clubs representing 0 or 3 key cards, and 5 diamonds representing 1 or 4 key cards. 5 hearts was 2 or 5 with no trump queen, and 5 spades was 2 or 5 with the trump queen. Well, as is often the case with bridge theory, it's been decided that the lower ranking bid should apply to the better hand. And since 1 or 4 key cards is better than 0 or 3, this is considered an improvement, making 5 clubs the response that shows 1 or 4. When we play this way, we call it 1430 to signify that the first step is 1 and 4 and the second step is 3 and 0. If we play this way, it's called 3014. This is the preferred method. It's only slightly better. They're pretty much the same most of the time. The one time they're different is when you're in a heart auction and the response to 4-note trump is 5 diamonds. Then the queen ask is a little bit of a problem, or could be a little bit of a problem. We'll talk about that later. Okay, now that we're making the king of trump the 5th key card, we have a new problem that we didn't have with the old Blackwood. We need to know which suit is trump before we answer for a 4-note trump call. And the usual way this is done is the last suit that's been bid naturally by either player before the 4-note trump call is assumed to be the trump suit. So in this auction, 1 spade, 4-note trump, spades is assumed to be the trump suit, and the 5 key cards are the 4 aces and the king of spades. In this case, the bidding's on 1 spade, 2 hearts, 4-note trump. 2 hearts was the last suit bid naturally, and therefore the 4-note trump call assigns the king of hearts the role of the 5th key card. Now, in an auction like this, 1 spade, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4 clubs, 4-note trump. The trump suit's still going to be hearts, not clubs, because clubs here is not natural. This is a control bid. Hearts have been bid and raised, and a 4-club bid is going to force us to at least a level of 4 hearts. It's obviously an interest in slam, and it's a control. It's not a natural suit. So hearts is still the trump suit, and the king of hearts is still the 5th key card. Now, this is kind of an interesting little diagram here. When we enter into this pathway, we have a variety of choices. We start with the key card ask, which is 4-note trump. If we don't like the response, we might just want to sign off at the 5 level and we just set the contract. Or maybe we do like the response and we set the contract anyway. We may want to ask if partner has the queen of trump. If we do that, we now have the opportunity to set the contract or to pick from this other menu of options. The other choices would be after the queen ask, if we aren't ready to set the contract immediately, we can do a specific king ask and sometimes a second king ask. Or we can do a specific suit ask, and we have a choice between the specific king ask and the specific suit ask. We can't do both of these. Okay? Another thing I want to point out to you is that both of these bids, the 4-note trump key card ask and the queen ask, can be done below the level of 6, and it's possible to bail out in a 5-level contract after making either or both of these bids. But once we get into this range, where we start doing specific king asks, specific suit asks, and second king asks, These bids are all to 5 no trump or higher level, and they guarantee that we can, that we're going to small slam, so they're basically exploration for grand slam. Okay, so we don't do grand slam exploration unless we have all 5 key cards and the queen of trump. We also don't do a queen ask unless we have at least 4 key cards. Okay, now suppose your partner has made a 4 no trump bid. You know how to answer in the usual way, but how about if you have a useful void and you want to show that to partner? Well, we can do that, although we have to give up some of these other options if we do. Answering, let's assume that hearts are agreed upon suit. When we have a useful void, and what I mean is by a useful void is optimally a suit that hasn't been bid by our partner and maybe has been bid by the opponents. If we have an odd number of key cards and our void is in a suit of lower rank than our trump suit, we bid that suit at the 6th level. So here we have a diamond void, which we consider to be useful based on the previous bidding. Hearts is our suit. So after 4 no trump, we bid 6 diamonds, and that says that we have an odd number of key cards, in this case just the 1, and a void in the lower ranking suit that we just named. Now I'm going to turn around the spades and the diamonds here and make the spades void. Now the same hand has its void in a higher ranking suit, but it's still just an odd number of key cards, 1. So the answer to 4 no trump is now 6 of our agreed upon suits, 6 hearts. That says I have a useful void in a suit higher ranking than hearts. Of course, that would have to be spades. Now here is an example with an even number of key cards. I've changed this jack to a king, so now we have the ace and the king of trump. That's 2 key cards. When we have an even number of key cards, wherever our void is, whether it's higher or lower ranking suit, the answer to 4 no trump becomes 5 no trump. And if partner wants to know where that void is, 6 clubs asks that question. Now let's look at the trump queen ask. And in this example here, we're assuming that hearts are trump. The trump queen ask is the lowest non-trump suit after a key card ask. It precedes the king ask, if you're going to have a king ask. It follows the first or second step key card answer, and it occurs at the 5 level. When do you make the queen ask? Well, like I said, you ought to have 4 key cards to do that. You're interested in a small slam or maybe even higher. Obviously, you're not looking at the queen of trump yourself, otherwise you don't need to ask. If you've got the queen in your hand, you don't need to ask, so you don't have the queen. And one other proviso is that partner's response was first or second step. Remember, if partner answers 5 clubs or 5 diamonds, that only says 0 or 1, 3 or 4 key cards. It doesn't say anything about the queen of trump. But if partner's answer had been 5 hearts, that would say 2 key cards without the queen of trump. You don't need to ask. If partner's answer had been 5 spades, that's 2 key cards with the queen of trump. Again, you don't need to ask. Now, one interesting little feature is that if partner asks you if you have the queen of trump, and you know that you and partner have a 10-card fit, or longer, you can answer yes even without it. The thinking being that 78% of the time, I'm assuming you don't have the queen, because partner asked you about it and you're not looking at it, 78% of the time the 3 outstanding trump will break 2-1. And the rest of the time, half of those times, the queen will be in a finessable position. So we just go ahead and answer yes whenever we know we have a 10-card fit. Okay, here's how we answer the trump queen ask. This would be an example of an ask right here. 1 heart, 4 no trump, 5 clubs. I'm assuming the 1430 form of Blackwood, key card Blackwood. So that says I have 1 or 4 key cards. 5 diamonds, do you have the queen of trump? Okay, and this is the set of responses. 5 hearts, return to the trump suit. No, I don't have it. I don't have the queen of hearts. 5 no trump. Yes, I have the queen of hearts, but no side suit kings. This is kind of interesting. Why are we talking about kings? Well, it's been noticed that if the answer to do you have the queen of trump is yes, it's very likely partner is interested in slam. Why would you ask if the answer is yes and you still don't want to go to slam? Partner's interested in slam and will be interested in which kings you have. So what we do is, when we have the queen of trump and a side suit king, any of the 3 side suit kings, we bid the cheapest one we have. to tell partner, yes, we have the queen and this king, but none of the kings that we bypassed. So for example, I mentioned 5 hearts is the no answer, but yes, when I have no kings, I bid 5 no trump. Now after 5 diamonds, a 5 spade call says yes. Anything except a return to the trump suit is yes. Yes, and I have the spade king, the cheapest king that I could possibly have bid above our trump suit. If the answer is 6 clubs, yes, I do have the queen, and I have the club king, that's what 6 clubs means, but no spade king, because if I'd had the spade king, the bid would have been 5 spades. I would have bid it instead. And if you're fortunate enough to hold the trump queen and all 3 side suit kings, the answer to the queen ask is 6 no trump. Okay, let's move on to the king ask now. I mentioned that there's a difference here between the king ask in the original Blackwood and in this version of Blackwood. In the original version of Blackwood, the king asked about 4 kings. Now we're only asking about 3 because we've taken one of those and put them over with the aces and made it a key card. There are 2 methods of answering the king ask. One is very similar to the older way that you're used to. It's called quantitative, in which case these step responses show increasing numbers of side suit kings. When we have no side suit kings, the answer to 5 no trump is 6 clubs. The answer to 6 diamonds is, 6 diamonds means 1, 6 hearts means 2, and 6 spades means 3. But a more popular method, and one that's more highly recommended, is what's called the specific king ask. And here in this example, we're assuming that hearts is trump, where we are going to bid our cheapest side suit king. If we have none, we're going to just return to the trump suit. So after a 5 no trump king ask, if hearts is our agreed upon suit, 6 hearts says I have no side suit kings. If I have 1 or 2 side suit kings, I'm going to bid the cheapest one, the cheaper one. So after 5 no trump, if I have the club king, that's the cheapest club that's possible to bid. That's the cheapest suit that's possible to bid. If I have the club king, I'm going to say 6 clubs. If I say 6 diamonds, it means I have the diamond king, but not the club king. And of course, 6 spades means I have the spade king, but you should be careful making a bid like this, 6 spades, if your suit is hearts, because now you've passed 6 hearts. And here would be an example of this put to work. Here's your hand. You open a spade. Partner splinters to 4 diamonds, which, if you're not familiar with that bid, what that shows is game forcing strength, 4 card or longer support for the spades, and a singleton or void in the splinter suit diamonds. Partner likes that response and immediately bids 4 no trump, holding 1, 2 key cards. Oops, something's wrong here. Anyway, forget the actual hand because it doesn't correlate with this. These responses are for 3 or 0 key cards, and this is for 1 or 4 key cards, not 2 key cards. I could probably change this to a king, and it would be right. But let's get past that. After the 5 no trump key card, king ask, 6 clubs would be saying I have the king of clubs. That's exactly the king you're looking for, because partner has already shown. I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble following my own thinking right here. But if partner can show us the king of clubs, we're going to be interested in the grand slam. But if partner doesn't have the king of clubs, we're not interested in the grand slam. So after 5 no trump, a 6 club response allows us to bid 7 spades. But any other response, we're forced to stop at 6 spades. Now let's look at the second king ask. Every once in a while, it's possible to ask about another king after you've made the 5 no trump specific king ask. Here would be such an example. You hold a hand like this, partner has a hand like this, you open a spade, partner makes a Jacoby 2 no trump response to that. You bid 3 clubs to show your shortness in clubs. If you're familiar with the Jacoby 2 no trump system of bids, this would be the usual bid now. Partner bids 4 clubs, showing a control in clubs. You bid 4 no trump. Partner bids 5 hearts, showing 2 key cards without the queen of trump. And those 2 key cards are going to be the ace of clubs and the king of trump. But there's no trump queen there, so 5 hearts is the right answer. 5 no trump. Now, how many, which kings do you have? Well, partner is able to tell you about the king of diamonds. doesn't have the king of clubs, so can't bid 5 clubs. That would be the cheapest king if partner held the king of clubs. But also the king of clubs wouldn't be very interesting to us anyway, since we're short there. So partner bids 5 diamonds. Well, what we really want to know now is, knowing that partner has 2 key cards, they must be the king of trump and the ace of clubs. Knowing that partner has the ace of clubs, the king of trump, and the king of diamonds, which was the answer to the 5 no trump call, what we really want to know is, does partner have the king of hearts? If partner has the king of hearts, we want to be in a grand slam, and if partner doesn't have the king of hearts, we want to settle for a small slam. So at this point, we can bid another suit at the 6th level, 6 hearts, and what that says to partner is, if you have that king, take us to the 7th level in our agreed upon suit. If not, let's sign out at 6. So because partner does have the king of hearts, partner bids 7 spades. That's the second king ace. Okay, now we're going to look at one more option we have. Before I leave king ask, I just want to repeat something that I mentioned in the last session, and that is that we don't make a king ask, just like we don't make a specific suit ask, unless we have all 5 key cards and the queen of trump. We need to have all those cards to be interested in Grand Slam. And by the time we get to this bid, and this bid, it is Grand Slam exploration. We're going past, we're committing our partnership to the 6th level at least, because we've made a 5 no trump bid here. That'll get us to the 6th level. The second king ask is a 6th level bid, and so is the specific suit ask. Now, a specific suit ask, this comes up when we want to know something, we want information about one of the side suits in particular. It's a non-trump suit bid after the queen ask or the key card ask, but unlike the queen ask, it's at the 6th level. So consider a hand like this. You have a real nice hand, you open 2 clubs, partner responds 2 diamonds, you show your spades suit with 2 spades, partner raises spades, and now you make a 4 no trump call. Partner answers 5 heart to tell you 2 key cards, but not the queen of trump. Well, you're not surprised partner doesn't have the queen of trump because you do. And you know what those 2 key cards are. They're this ace and this ace, because you have the other 3, the ace and king of trump and the ace of clubs. So what do you want to know now? You know, a king ask isn't going to be very helpful to you. You have all the kings. What you really want to know is, can I make a grand slam here? Can I make a 7 level contract? If so, what do I need? What I really need is 3rd round control of clubs. I need for partner to have either the queen of clubs or no more than 2 of them in that suit. So what I'm going to do is make an inquiry about clubs. After the 4 no trump 5 heart call, I now bid 6 clubs, and that's a specific suit ask. And this is the menu of responses. If partner returns to trump, he's telling us that he doesn't have 2nd or 3rd round control of the ask suit. Has 3 small or longer. And so the answer in this case would be back to 6 spades. A first step response, and after 6 clubs that would be 6 diamonds, says I have 3rd round control. So either queen XX, it could be longer, it could be queen XXX, or a double thing. This cannot be longer because we're promising 2nd round control to partner in this suit. Now, a second step response, 6 hearts in this case, would show 2nd round control in this form, but no 3rd round control. A third step response would show 2nd and 3rd round control in this form. And notice when I say 3rd step, I'm bypassing the trump suit. So 6 spades was not a step. 6 no trump is the 3rd step. And then finally, if we raise the ask suit, so after 6 clubs, bid 7 clubs, it means we have 2nd and 3rd round control in the form of the king and the queen, and maybe another card. Also, with a singleton in the ask suit, if it's not one of partner's bid suits, we can just bid 7 of the trump suit. That's how this goes. Now let's look at a hand. Sorry. This is a hand that actually came up in this bridge club this month. This nice hand got to open 2 clubs, and the response with 9 high card points and a balanced hand was 2 no trump, 3 hearts was the next bid, followed by a raise to 4 hearts, 4 no trump. This is Roman key card Blackwood. 5 clubs was the 1430 response to show 1 key card. And of course, this hand knows what that key card is, holding 4 of the other 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so at this point, we know partner has the ace of spades. We don't expect any losers in our trump suit. We don't expect any losers in our club suit. What we really want to know about is what does partner have in diamonds? And in this case, partner has exactly what we need, the king and the queen. So we make a 6 diamond specific suit ask, and partner raises the ask suit to show both the king and the queen, and we can confidently bid either 7 hearts or 7 no trump now, knowing that we have the ace of spades and the king queen of diamonds. That's a pretty nice application of this. And then one last hand to spend a moment on. This is another hand that came up in this bridge club a couple years ago, just to show you a little bit of a dilemma that might arise. This hand opened 1 diamond. This hand responded 1 spade. Now, opener jumps in diamonds to 3 diamonds, and the responder makes a 4 no trump key card ask. This hand over here shows 2 key cards and the queen of trump with a 5 spade response. Where are those cards? Here are the 2 key cards, the ace and king of trump, and here's the queen of trump. Okay, we have the other 3 key cards, so we know that we have all 5 key cards and the queen of trump. And so we make a 5 no trump call to ask about specific kings. Partner shows the cheapest king possible with a 6 heart call. And we're real happy to hear about that. At this point, we know that partner has a 6 card or longer diamond suit headed by the ace, king, queen, so we can count on 6 trump tricks, or 6 diamond tricks anyway. We know we have the ace, king of spades, that's 8 tricks. Partner has just showed us the king of hearts, so we have 2 more hearts, that takes us up to 10 tricks. We see 2 clubs, that takes us to 12 tricks. Do we have a 13th trick? We have all the aces, we have all the kings, we have the queen of trump. Do we have 1 more queen in this hand? Well, we don't really know for sure, but it's perfectly reasonable to assume that partner has at least one of those queens that we're looking for, because partner has made a jump here, promising about 16 points, and has shown us the ace, king, queen of diamonds and the king of hearts, so that's 12 points. Partner's got to have another 4 points or more in this hand, and I think it's perfectly reasonable to assume that partner has one of the unstated queens. Partner actually has 2 of them, and just go ahead and bid all 13 tricks, 7 no trump. Okay, that's it for today.